How are we doing for timing?
Um, my computer says it's 6:02 and it's just you and me.
Wow, I'm
No,
really surprised Dan and Edith aren't here.
I know. I mean, the weather is really nice, but
I'll give it a couple more minutes or something. But
I guess, yeah, I hope no one well, last time I didn't send like a reminder. Yesterday was such a mess. I didn't even think to send
well,
one.
but this week, well, this was just out what last week.
Yeah, I think last Wednesday. So they had a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they got it, but and like Jim Rose sent an email just this afternoon saying he was sorry and something came up and he wouldn't be able to make it.
Hmm. I was impressed with the tour with Edith and Dan. I'll tell you,
Yeah. Yeah, that was really helpful.
they have so much background, so much knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. They've already been so much help. I mean, especially Dan, but the others have great suggestions too. And they've all, some of them have just been around for a really long time.
Oh, we're getting a couple people.
Yeah, hi, Gary Kokersberger dialing in.
Hi, Gary.
Hi. We can
Hi,
hear
yeah,
you.
great. And then I can hear you too this time.
Good. So far, it's just you and me and Dennis. We're gonna give it a few more minutes, I guess.
Alrighty, okay. I'm actually down camping in Chautauqua County and walking through the woods down here. I noticed a couple of gypsy moth egg masses, but nothing compared to what we're dealing with.
What are
Oh,
the leaves like?
What's that?
What are the leaves like? Is it nice down
Oh,
there?
yeah. It's beautiful. It's a little, I think similar to what we're seeing. There's still some nice colors. Uh, yeah, the emerald ash borers have really destroyed the ash population, as is the case everywhere else it seems.
Yeah,
But a
I
lot of,
went to, I'm sorry. I went to
no, I was just going to
Letchworth
say,
last week.
oh yeah, how was that?
Well, a lot of green still.
yeah?
Yeah, really,
Now,
yeah.
I think maybe by the first of next week I might go again. Or I see on
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday they closed the place because it was so busy.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So,
Yeah. Well, these people are outdoors at least, I guess.
oh yeah, today was beautiful.
We went
Well,
to
Yeah.
the Adirondacks last weekend and they're a bit past their peak. They're losing a lot of leaves, but still really
Yeah.
pretty.
really nice.
Wow. Yeah. Did you get affected by the storms that were around the Albany area? Did that hit the decks at all?
We were up by Saranac Lake, so we
Okay.
didn't really get much up there.
Oh, well, that's good.
It was windy, but
Yeah.
yeah, we got some rain and stuff, but I mean it was just some heavy rain and winds, but nothing crazy, no.
Right. Right. See.
Well, we might
Well,
as well
Dennis,
get
yeah,
started,
yeah.
right?
I was going to say I'm new to the tree committee. Joyce asked me to sit in on the group, I guess, as another representative of the environmental board. But I'd be interested in hearing a little the history of the committee and kind of what your all charge is.
Sure. Sarah, you want to start that one?
Sure. Gary, I know you can't see me and you're probably not
Yeah.
able to see my screen, but I'm going to, one of the things I was going to tell you guys, and I might, Dennis, let me know what you think. Since we're so few tonight, do you want to, what do you want to do with the agenda as far as, some of the stuff? Do you want to just do a quick little meeting and do everything next time, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think the number one thing I wanted to do was, well, Gary, did did you get the list that we made out a couple of weeks ago when we visited the cemeteries and a couple of the parks?
Yeah, I did. I did see that, and Edith kind of touched on it as well during our last EB meeting.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of our number one goal, was to visit our cemeteries and parks and other town locations, and identify anything that was really kind of outstanding as far as dead trees, diseased trees, those types of things. And I wanted to continue that. I wanted to see if anyone was going to be interested, maybe this week or next week, to go to Town Hall and Blue Heron and Richard Outhouse Park and do the same thing. Maybe I'll have Sarah send out an email to see if there's anyone interested. That was one of my big goals for tonight, was to continue that.
I suppose we might be able to do that through email. You tell me some of your dates, and we don't have to do this right now, I guess, or we could. Dennis, you could tell me some dates that work, and then we could just send out an email and say who'd like to, or.
Okay, I know Dan likes Saturdays. I don't know, he's pretty busy, I think, during the week.
Yeah.
Both this Saturday and the following Saturday are open for me. Next Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are open for me also. But I thought, if we could meet about 9 o'clock at the town hall, and then we could go to the other two locations. That's our first goal, Gary, is to do some identifying.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, Dennis, you want me just to kind of give him kind of like the spiel on how we got started?
Sure. That's how I got there. You gave me a spiel.
Yeah, I know. I sure did. And I said, hey, come join it.
All right.
So Dennis, one thing I did, well, Gary, you too, is the other day I realized that our group didn't have a page on the website like most of our other volunteer groups did. So I'll give you a little history, but I'll also tell you that if you want to check it out afterwards, our website, if you go to the government tab on the top, you can find our tree team on that page and click on it. And the links to get into our Zoom meetings are going to be put there now every month. And then there's a little background. So Gary, you know about the CIC, right? The Citizens Implementation Committee.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so they're the group. It was before I started, I think a year or so before I started. I think it was 2014. They started the committee. It's the town board appointed it, and their whole purpose was to implement the comprehensive plan. So all those goals in the plan, they said, okay, well, you're in charge of finding a way for us to reach all those goals. And then every year since then, CIC comes up with a list, and the town board approves a list of goal priorities, like for the next year for them to work on. And there have been, I don't even know how many. There've been many. Like some years there's only 2 priorities. Other years we've had as many as 4 or 5, and they really cover the whole range of what the town wants. Like for example, for this year, natural resource protection was a big one. So this team was created to fall under that priority, protecting the town's natural resources. The other reason we created it this year is because there is usually it's annual, but I'm not sure it's going to be next year. The DEC has a grant called the Urban and Community Forestry Grant, and it's intended to help municipalities manage their public forest. In other words, all the woodlands and forests that grow on municipal property. So like the trees at Town Hall, the trees at all the parks and the cemeteries, like what Dennis and Dan and Edith went to look at. So that grant, they'll give you money to seed you know, kind of take a status of your trees. They call it a tree inventory, see what you've got and what shape it's in. And then they'll pay for you to have like a, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's a management plan,
Mhm.
whether you've got individual park trees like we do like at Outhouse Park and stuff, or a woodland area like we do at Ononda. They'll kind of, after they do the inventory, they'll go through and tell you what you need to do to keep your forest healthy or your trees healthy. And you can use the money from the grant to hire someone like Dan Marion, you know, or somebody like that who's an arborist.
Yeah.
So one of the recommendations or requirements of those grants is that you have some sort of an advisory group whose focus is trees. So
Wow. Okay.
we wanted to apply for the grant, and we did, but we needed to have this group in order for them to consider us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I figured it was about time for us to start one for more than, you know, for the grant, but also, of course, since, you know, it's nice to have a group kind of dedicated to trees, because
Sure.
we haven't really had it before. I mean, Dennis, it used to just fall on you really as the director of parks.
Mhm.
You did?
Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome.
Al, thank you.
Gary.
Hi, I'm
Gary.
looking
Hello.
from my Zoom screen. I didn't know we had anybody else. Yay.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Now I don't know how to get it back. Oh, there it is.
Gary joined us and he kind of asked for some background on the committee, so that's what Sarah was doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good
Gary,
review.
that kind of covers it. Dan, I don't
All
know
right.
if you popped on, but I was telling them that our group now has a page on the town's website.
Oh,
Kind of
great.
describing what the purpose of the group is, when the meetings are going to be. We'll have a link on there every month, so if someone stumbles across it, they could join in and listen if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And then, like, I also put on there a place for us to keep resources. Gary, kind of like the way the ECB does on their page. So Dennis, the
Right.
report that Edith made for your the tour is on there. So
Yeah. So
Okay.
were you successful with your urban forestry grant application?
well, that was one of the things I put on our agenda. We just found out about a week ago that we didn't get it. So,
Right.
but I will say that we know that it's really competitive and we weren't sure we were going to get it. I think when they sent us the note, I think they said there was like 150 or something, or 130 applicants, and only I can't remember the numbers, but say maybe around 50 awards. It was either
Yeah.
somewhere between 30 and 50 awards, and there was well over 100 applications. So
It's pretty competitive.
yeah, they usually are. And that was one of the things I was going to say, is that I reached out to them to ask if they'd talk to me about our application. And I have an appointment to meet with them on November 10th, I think. So they can give us some feedback and say, you know, here's what was great about it, here's what was not, you know, so that we can maybe try again.
Good.
Okay, good background there, Sarah. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Gary, to continue with your question, you know, besides what we're doing presently of identifying, you know, diseased and the condition of our trees and our cemeteries and parks, the next step will be to go to the same facilities and suggest planting of trees. You know, what can we do to add some trees and things? And then eventually we're going to do an tree inventory of the cemeteries and parks and other areas that the town owns. Dan, we were just talking, you know, we were talking about what you, Edith, and I did. And I wanted to continue that. I'd like to continue it this week or next week to go start at the town hall and then go to Richard Outhouse Park and to Blue Heron and do the same things. I don't know if you can do that. If you have a date, then I'll have Sarah send out an email to the other members to see if anyone's interested.
Okay. Those are mainly small trees, right? At the
Yeah, there's some
outhouse
quite-
park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both those parks are small. There are also some questionable trees at the town halls that we want to look at, so. So just
Okay.
three facilities. It should be short and sweet. It's not going to take a good portion of the day like it did before.
All right. So what's the weather outlook for the weekend? We good for sunny weather or decent, at least not raining or snowing?
I don't think there's rain. I think Saturday's only supposed to be like 50, 52.
Okay.
But I thought, if we could meet like at town hall at 9 o'clock, and it probably was not going to take us much more than an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. We could do that.
All right,
Send out an email blast and whoever wants to show up.
all right. Sarah, would you be willing to do that for us? But is 9 o'clock good, Dan?
Oh, yeah. Yep. 9's good.
Or nine at town hall?
Yeah, at the town hall. That's where the town barns are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
the transfer station will be open so we can take a shortcut through the
Yeah.
down to the other two parks.
Two
So
birds,
Dennis,
one
you
stone.
said outhouse and town hall and where else?
Blue Heron.
Okay, and so 9 a.m. this Saturday, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you want me to email the whole group?
Yeah, ask if there's anyone interested, and if they are, they will get back to one of us anyway, so we have an idea of who's coming.
Okay, Dennis, do you want to email me your cell phone number or something, or you can just tell me now if you want to, and then could I give that to them if they want to come as a way to get a hold of you since it's a Saturday?
Yeah, they can text me. It's 441-5300.
Cool. Yep, I can do that. I'll probably send it tomorrow and then have them get a hold of you.
All right, sounds good.
One of the things I was thinking that the tree board should work on is a list of recommended species to plant in the town.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Definitely. It sounds
Yeah, so that'd be something to work on.
right.
Now, would that all be native species or that plus just good solid species too?
Well, I think there's a lot of considerations, what the site being probably the primary one. Of course, there's some trees that wouldn't do well in an urban or park situation, and they would be automatically out. But I think it could be very involved, a very involved process. But I wouldn't limit it to natives, unless that was something that we wanted to do. Because there's a lot of good non-natives that are non-invasive that could be selected and do really well in urban areas and require very little maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really great.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
And, we'll kind of follow along with the idea that we do want to make some suggestions for the cemeteries and for the parks, but we can make suggestions for other areas too. Eventually, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, do you have a budget to work with, kind of implement the recommendations coming out of the committee? How does that work?
Yeah, I was going to ask Sarah that. I forgot to look at the budget. Sarah, did they put money in for us?
I think he put in the same thing we asked for last year. I guess it kind of depends on if we wanted to try for the grant again, but what I don't know is when they'll do it, because usually I think it's like late in the year or really early, but they didn't even release the awards until just now, and they were supposed to release them back in May. So I don't even know if there's going to be a grant for us to apply for, sorry. And if we don't, then the town, i.e. the town board, has to decide if they want to spend more, because we wouldn't be getting a grant, but to go forward, with some sort of inventory or plan. But the tree team could recommend a different way of spending the money and, consider that, the town board could consider that.
Yeah, I forgot to look to see if they set aside some money, but.
I think
it's
it was the
you know, it's
same with, and it would be the larger amount, but only the town actually paying for some of it, the project would be larger, but we only would have to foot the bill for whatever it was. I can't remember. It was like 20%. So, maybe that's not what we want to do anymore. I don't know. I guess that's another conversation too.
Isn't there a fundraising option to get the public involved? Yeah, they want to plant trees. It's something that there might be a community interest, and then to fundraise for that, bring in extra funds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the history of fundraising in the town is. Since I've been working here, we've never really done that. Like, I don't know, like people pay us taxes and we're supposed to use that to do everything. We've never asked for more from the public as a donation, but we do occasionally get small donations from people. So I'm not sure how.
Well, it would have to be specific, like we want to plant this park. We want to make it inviting for people. Trees have benefits, and you kind of sell the benefit of trees and planting trees, and you get community involvement. Maybe you have schools plant it, and you just get that kind of buzz going, and then you start to get donations for the plant materials, and then maybe you get a few donated from some of the nurseries if the funds aren't there.
I do know over the years, we've had a number of people who have funded a tree at Ononda Park, and in some cases, there's a stone stating who it's dedicated to. I know the Park and Recreation are now pushing for benches in the parks that people can purchase.
Oh yeah.
With a plaque. So I'm sure they could do the same thing with trees. As far as asking for donations, I'm pretty sure that's not legal really, but I think if someone wanted to donate a tree, that's okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about the bench program. Yeah, that's a new one. It's, I mean, it kind of, they're saying, if you want to put a plaque on a bench at a park, the town's already purchased some, and then they sponsor it. So they put a plaque on the bench, with someone, in honor of somebody, and the person can sponsor that whole bench. I suppose that would be an idea.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a tree instead of a bench.
Instead of a bench, with a little plaque or whatever. I've gone to a number of other parks. I know Avon has a real nice park in which almost all their trees are dedicated to someone. Someone purchased the trees, they financed the stone and everything else. But that park is pretty neat. They have a walking trail and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something we should look into.
Yeah.
What if we? It could be an Arbor Day thing. I know Dennis, you used to have people come and help do mulch and planting flowers and trees in the parks around Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Or was it Love My Parks Day, something like that?
Yeah, we always had the Love My Parks Day. Got a number of people to help in the park, but yeah, that could be something could be added to that. Oops, I think Gary wanted. Gary, did you have something to?
Yeah, no, not. I'm just listening attentively.
Oh, okay. All right, so Sarah, you'll send something out about Saturday.
Yeah.
On the agenda, you had the Gypsy Month. Do you have the recording that people can go and?
Yes, I do. Yeah, and I didn't know if there was anyone who wanted to see it. I know we don't have a whole lot of people on the call, but
I saw it. I saw it. It was excellent. It really gave me a lot of added information that I didn't really have. So.
Yeah. I mean, I put I have the link, and I can't remember where I stuck it on the website, but I could share it in an email to the group if you want, in case there's some of them who wanted to see it who didn't. Although I imagine a lot of them did. I have to admit I watched half of it and then I had to do something else for work and then I forgot to go back until you just said that now and I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Yeah, put it up for the members, but what about just the general public in the town?
Yeah, I stuck it on the website, and we put it in the newsletter, a link to watch it. What would you want me to put it on the page I created for us?
Sure. I've already been approached by 2 or 3 people asking me questions about gypsy moth. I guess they saw something about the tree committee or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So there is an interest just by the general public.
So I know the DEC is, as far as like trying to do for people who want to do treatment, the DEC is gathering names and putting them in touch with someone to spray Dan, what's that stuff? The BT?
There's BT and then there's Gyp Check.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think the
that's
guy
made by
that,
the U.S. Forestry.
I think the person that they're working with is gonna do the BTK.
Okay.
You know, I emailed in the webinar they referenced the Forest Service contact person. I think he's in Indiana or somewhere. And I actually emailed him and asked about whether there's ever been any head-to-head comparisons of BT with Gyp Check, and whether our situation might lend itself to such kind of simultaneous application. I haven't heard back from him, but I wonder possibly the Forest Service might be interested. As Dan said, they're the ones who have to produce this stuff, and it sounds like it takes a while. But it seems that Gyp Check has some advantages in being a little more specific for just the gypsy moth caterpillars and not affecting some of the other moths and butterflies. But I've done some research, and it doesn't seem like there's any comparative effectiveness trials to see which of those 2 products works better.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a lot of research on it, other than what the U.S. Forestry Service has done. But one thing that concerns me about off-target and beneficials getting hit by BT, the honeybee, how does it affect the honeybee? I've had one client that asked me about spraying. Do I need to do it? His neighbor has 83 acres that he's going to have done next year. And I'm horrified because, what are we doing to the environment when you spray that kind of surface area? Unintended consequences.
I was a little worried about that too. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really have an opinion. I only know what I've read and what, people tell me, but it does seem like a lot of acres are. Yeah. And I was remembering what you said before, Dan, and what they said in the webinar too, is that there are natural controls. And what if that next year isn't so bad? People have already got all these contracts to spray anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's commercial. Of course they're gonna secure the contracts whether it needs it or not. But the gypsy moth have 2 things going against them: their high population. You get to epizootic condition. That means that you get such a high population, and they usually crash. And they crash for 2 pathogens that go after them. There's MPV, which is a virus. Gyp Check is made from that. And then there's entomophaga, which is the fungus that is in the soil that also can kill up to 90%. This year, we just had the perfect storm of events. We had a very cold May and a very dry end of the May and June. So these are conditions in which entomophaga cannot grow in. Entomophaga likes to grow between 50 and 80 degrees, and it likes a lot of moisture. We had exact opposite. So, whenever you get a large population, there's always a predator, something to come in and to take advantage of that. And that's been the case with gypsy moth for 100 years. And I don't see it. I don't see things changing next year. Maybe we get into favorable weather conditions for the gypsy moth, and we don't get that kickback that we're expecting, but I don't think we're going to get a repeat of this year. I could be wrong, but I would, I don't, I don't know how effective spraying's going to be unless you get it early with some of those controls in the first in-stage or in-star stage.
The one slide that, and I forget which presenter showed it, but it was looking at the results of doing these egg mass surveys. And again, I'm not sure what the basis of their conclusions were, but they talked about these critical amounts of egg mass as being predictive of tree mortality the coming year. And I don't know if that was independent of the weather conditions, but just saying that you have just so much egg mass that you're likely going to have a lot of defoliation. But yeah, I'm sure it's unpredictable. Is climate change going to make us more prone to having a repeat of a really dry spring and similar favorable conditions? Yeah, anybody's guess. They do say that the honeybees are not affected by the BTK, but certainly all the other moths and butterflies will be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good news.
Yeah.
Interesting topic, right?
Yeah,
Let's,
for sure. Boy.
let's hope Dan is right, and we're not going to have a repeat.
Yeah. We'll hold them to it. We'll hold them to it. Well, the trees did seem to rebound. I mean, not the poor pine trees, but the oak seemed to have, for the most part, come back pretty well. Is that other people's observations?
We had both. We had some oaks that seemed to come back pretty well. I have some that really didn't. I have a couple really big old ones that they didn't really grow any other leaves, so I don't know what they're gonna do. But our aspens all regrew. The leaves are still, they're a little smaller. They didn't have time to get to their full size again, but all our aspens came back.
Yeah, that's usually the case. You get a diminished second canopy. It's not like the first. A healthy tree can tolerate stripping of the leaves several years before they can get diseased and die. Usually predisposes them to other diseases that come in under a weakened tree, but they can tolerate it a couple of years in a row, and that's it's kind of a crapshoot. You jump next year, maybe it's bad, maybe it's not as bad, maybe it's not a problem at all. I think that you monitor early and you look to see what type of year it's going to be to predict it, and it doesn't hurt to prepare.
Okay. Sarah, the last thing you had on the agenda was reporting process.
Oh yeah, but we kind of already covered that one.
Okay.
Well, you and I did anyway.
Right.
So the tree project team, or whatever we're called, tree committee, tree board, we kind of call ourselves all of them. I suppose we should probably agree on one, but
I think you're right, because I see board and I see committees.
I know. Well, yeah, it was funny because so the CIC, I sit on that committee too. So we have a list of priorities for every year for what we want to focus on to get done. And this year, natural resources was high on the list. So when we want to focus on it, we've created these volunteer groups, these project teams. And so that's how this group was created. But that grant, if you were successful with that grant from DEC, they call it a tree board. So sometimes I was referring to us as the board already, even though we hadn't gotten the grant.
Does it take usually a couple shots to get the grant?
I've heard
Get it on your first run.
Yeah, I've heard that's kind of normal. I know that when we were applying, I went and I talked to Bryce June at DEC, and there was a guy who had worked with, I want to say Avon, Chris Luley, and he came and actually met with us. Joyce Marthaler, the ECB chair, she met him somehow and asked him to come and talk to us when Bryce came to tell us what he helped them do. I think it was Avon. Anyway, they had tried to get the grant a couple times and didn't get it. And then he helped them with their application and a really solid plan, I guess. So then they got it. And then he did their inventory and management plan. So he kind of helped us with our application. But in the process, it did kind of sound like our application, just the situation we have and what we were asking for, might not be as strong as some of the other places. Because sometimes they focus on the urban forest, you know, and in the town, we really don't have a whole lot of urban area. And we have a lot of trees. So maybe our application wasn't as needy. But I am meeting with the grant organizers on the 10th of November, I think. So hopefully they'll be able to tell me, you know, what we would need to change or how our focus would need to change if we ever wanted to get it, you know, if we want to be more successful. So I don't know what they're going to say.
So we're going to be
Yeah.
called the tree board then, right?
We would have to call ourselves a tree board if we got the grant. And then
Oh,
there
okay.
actually is a little bit more to it. It would move from just being a volunteer project team to actually being a group appointed by the town board, like the cities is.
Right.
So we did it this way because it was an easy way to get the group established, and so we could start working and not have to wait for the grant to, you know, to get some stuff done. But the more formal process would be if we got the grant. We don't need to do that if we don't get it. But
Sarah, I like to pursue the Tree City USA. I don't know what your feelings about that. I like to do some-
I've looked into it. It sounds like they have requirements. Like we have to spend a certain amount of money per capita every year in order to be eligible to become a tree city. And I'm not sure we were there yet. But now that we have this group and we're targeting it a little bit more, we may actually, if we see what we did in the last couple of years, you know, and then with what we do next year, we might actually hit it. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the number is, what the requirement is.
Is that something you would consider partnering with the city? Does the city have a tree committee or a tree board?
They do. They have the full thing. They've got the tree advisory board that's appointed by the city council, and they have, they are a Tree City USA.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Anything,
We'd be a
Dan
tree
or
town.
Gary, anything else on the agenda or anything you'd like to bring up?
Nothing here.
Okay. And Sarah does a load of work, I'll tell you. She contacts people, she gets the agenda out, she gets the minutes out. Really appreciate all that. So,
yeah.
until you're better paid anyway, right?
I don't mind, especially for this group. This is probably my favorite new group. I've always liked trees. I always wanted to do more. So
They are terrific and very knowledgeable. So I'm glad to be here too. So if there's not anything else, what is it? November 9th at 6 o'clock again, right? For another meeting?
yeah, is that the second Monday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know we had to bump this one, but that one should be fine for the regular schedule.
Right. Dan, I'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, that sounds good. At the town hall. Okay.
Gary, if you want to join us,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I'll try to join. Okay.
All
Take
right,
care.
sounds good.
Bye.
Thanks. Thanks all.
Bye,
All
everyone.
right, I'll send a note tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Sarah.
Thanks
Okay.
so much.
Talk to you
Bye.
later. Thanks.